Friday, December 29th, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl in Jacksonville. Clemson versus Kentucky. Kentucky is a 4-point underdog here. This game to me would have been incredibly important to Mark Stoops had they lost to Louisville. Like, I think that is if there was some momentum and some positive growth off of that win over arch rival in the state. Now they've got a chance. I think they could really shape this season in a very different way than how it was kind of unfolding in like November for Kentucky. And I think, they've already got into the portal to go get Brock Vandagriff. I just think Clemson, I have no idea what to expect of Clemson's motivation here. This is an opportunity. Again, to your point, we don't read too much into bowl games and their results, but I think there's an opportunity here for Mark Stoops in Kentucky to right the ship a little bit, kind of quiet some of the noise, the Texas A&M stuff, and just sort of say, you know what, look, we're still a pretty darn good football program. And to go beat Louisville and Clemson, who are both ranked and high and have better, quote unquote, better seasons than you, I think this is actually a pretty big opportunity for Kentucky.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the Louisville game was sort of a vibe changer for Kentucky and Mark Stoops, because had they lost that one, then of course you have all the rumors about, is he going to A&M or not? Now the talk is, well, they beat Louisville. There's, Mark Stoops is staying. They've got they're pretty solid transfer class coming in. So that win was a vibe changer. Now they go into this game and kind of continue that momentum. I don't think the matchups in this game favor Kentucky, though. I think,
no.
From a just a basic football analysis here, Clemson's very good against the run. I think Ray Davis, and it'll be tough sledding for Kentucky's rushing attack here. Devin Leary has been inconsistent as a passer. Clemson's secondary is very good. You could flip it around. Kentucky has been vulnerable against the pass. I think Cade Klubnik, he's been up and down. This could be a spotlight game for him. Kentucky is very good, though, against the run, and that could be bad news for Shipley and Maffa. So I think just on a vibe level, it could be an opportunity for Kentucky to continue that, but also I don't think the matchups really favor them here. It is an opportunity for guys like Ray Davis and Devin Leary to go out on a high note, though, after some, especially for Leary, more ups and downs this year.
Who's obviously Devin Leary, former ACC player, very familiar with Clemson. Wasn't he responsible for that big win in overtime 2 years ago against Clemson, yes, I believe? Mm-hmm. What's interesting is, it's almost like which offensive line has the least inconsistencies. Neither one of these offensive lines have, they've had some discipline problems, penalties, untimely situational, lack of awareness on both these groups. The Clemson offensive line just hasn't been all that great. They're significantly better on defense. It's kind of similar to what Kentucky has been under Mark Stoops over the last few years. I would imagine that Kentucky's motivational factor here is slightly greater than Clemson's motivational factor. If Dabo Swinney, though, wants to shut people up, this is a pretty big one for him, too. Because, again, while bowl games are not that important from a result standpoint, they do shape the offseason conversation. And Clemson losing, even though they beat South Carolina and kind of did it in a very Clemson-ish kind of way, I think there's an offseason conversation here for both these coaches if Kentucky wins that really doesn't bode well for Dabo's talk radio shows down in South Carolina.
Yeah, and especially because I think the offseason narrative was going to be, well, Clemson might use the portal a little bit more. I'm still, that they may add some guys, but some of the top prospects, I think it would have made sense here. They haven't panned out, or they didn't even consider Clemson. So I think the good for Clemson was they finished the season playing better. Notre Dame win, the win over South Carolina. They could finish here on a high note. But at the same time, though, I think playing in the Gator Bowl, kind of another disappointing end to the season. They lost, of course, last year to Tennessee in the Orange Bowl. So going back to Florida to play an SEC team.